What's up, everybody? What's going on? David Hamilton here, Core Confidence, talking tonight about how to attract the right relationship for busy, successful entrepreneurs. Okay, so, it's different being an entrepreneur, right, in dealing with the dating world, quite frankly. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, we can call it that as well. And the different challenges and concerns that I found when I talk to guys, all types of successful guys, from executive types, high-end professionals like doctors, attorneys, rockstar IT guy, developers, cyber geek guys, right? And certainly the entrepreneurs. And I found there are some differences between these types of high-achieving guys in terms of the time they have, the energy they can spend, and how that's going to actually play out for them so they can attract the right relationship for them ultimately, okay? And so I'm going to share a few important keys to help you solve this, that really help you get to the heart of this and move forward as a busy, successful entrepreneur. So we're catering it to you guys today. And yeah, it should be fun as always. And real quickly, want to mention that you might notice my face is a little bit funny. I have contracted a condition called Bell's palsy. So my right side is temporarily paralyzed, okay? It's an inflammation of the nerve, and so it deadens the muscles in your face, and it takes potentially a few weeks to a few months to come back. So I am dealing with that. It started last Friday, really set in. So I just want to mention that, and I'm probably going to do a video about insecurities, dating insecurities and such on Monday. Important topic, right? So anyways, back to the matter at hand to help you guys. So make sure that you do, smash the like button below, leave comments, questions, stuff like that. Share it out if you like what you're seeing here at any point. Always welcome engagement here and getting you guys interacted and helping you guys with these live streams, okay? And so, and be sure to stick around at the end, because if this is something you really, really want help with, especially as a successful and busy entrepreneur, have a way that I might be able to really help you take it to the next level and beyond in your dating and love life, okay? So again, David Hamilton with Core Confidence, right? Help successful men crush it in their love lives like they do in their career, their business, other areas of life as well. And, different challenges for successful men, quite frankly, that I always talk about. Those will be included in here, and we're gonna narrow it down here. So, we got time, we got energy and effort, but time for entrepreneurs, and it is a really, really, can be a tumultuous thing. If you're running a successful business, depending on, how many employees you got or what you got going on, if you're in growth mode, how much time it's gonna, require of you, energy and effort. Maybe you're sailing along, but there's always the good months, the bad months, all this kind of stuff that goes along with being an entrepreneur, right? Cash flow, right? Cash flow management. As when I worked in IT, I was a high-performing IT professional in New York City before I became a business owner. Cash flow didn't mean anything to me. I didn't know what that means. I didn't know what gross revenue meant, what net revenue meant, and profit, right? Net profit, gross profit, all this stuff, right? Didn't need expenses even, other than personal expense. How all these numbers play out, right? These are all things that entrepreneurs deal with and have to deal with, maybe not at first. And so I'm going to gear this to the entrepreneurial mindset to help it sink in, because we think in different ways, because we have to, as everything falls on you when the business fails. There's no one else to turn to. It's not your employee's fault. It's not your vendor's fault. It's not your customers or clients' fault. It's your fault. Now, ultimately, in your love life, right, I always say the common point of attraction is us. Same it is in our business, right? How we create, how we attract what we attract in terms of customers, clients, employees, etc., and all that, right? We are the nexus. We are the leader, right? We have to inspire other people to be leaders as well. And the same goes for in relationship, right? I talk so much about being that guy that women chase. Inspire them to chase and adore you. It's assertive, but it's not pushy or aggressive. It's not the hunter. I talk about my Attraction on Command masterclass, which you can always check out. I'll talk about that later. I'll throw a link. But anyways, I don't want to get too off track here. So some key tenets, right? And so, it's tough. It's tough. And then if you're successful, you don't want to have to hide that necessarily, right? You don't want to have to hide that from women. But it's a tricky line to manage. I help guys all the time that spend way too much money on women, right? They're doing these things and the women will take it, and the guys are pumping all this money out, and they're also not getting the love, affection, respect, and stuff that they really want. So it's a huge challenge, and especially with that success that comes along, right? How to play that? How do you shift that? How do you really manage this? And how do you, make sure that this woman, of the women you're seeing, because, my strategy is always, you want to have a little, you want to have something going on, a little healthy competition for you, right? So you can select the best fit for you and her for you, right? But it's important to know who that is and have some qualifications, right? Just like you'd be hiring employees, right? Same type of thing. And so the first thing I want to talk about here, and this is certainly geared, for entrepreneurs, is you want to focus on, okay? You want to focus on high ROI approach, a high ROI approach, okay? ROI, we all know what it means, return on investment, right? That's what we think. We put cash down in our business, right? We invest in something. A new vendor is going to help us install some new technology, maybe a new process, a new training, a new production site, right? Whatever that is. You're concerned about ROI at the end of the day if you're spending money without paying attention to ROI and what your returns are and what your profit's going to be. Well, the same goes with dating. And one of the biggest, or the least ROI methods certainly is apps and dating sites for finding quality women, especially for older guys, and if older guys want to date younger women, because the vibe can't transmit and all that stuff the same. Now, it's not absolutely the worst. The worst that I've seen is matchmaking services are very low ROI, especially for what you pay for what you get. I know there's guys that have paid $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, whatever, for a very small pool of women. A lot of them aren't even that attractive, let alone a personality match. Talk to guys all the time about this, okay? And another one is also these kind of overseas dating sites, like Japan and Eastern Europe and they're just mail order bride sites to me, right? Those are really bad for guys, right? Those are really bad. And so focusing on what's the higher ROI approach, meeting women socially, actually having a social life, building that if you don't have one, leveraging that in the right way. Now you have to have your confidence and your attraction, your vibe in place too. It's not just about being social, but there's a lot that social can do for you, and it does it on so many levels. It'll help your business. It'll help new friendships and relationships, right? Let alone meeting women. There's so many possibilities. And it's almost like a lost art more and more. We have to navigate with social media and our smartphones and all these things. That's not going away. I'm not saying don't use that stuff. And I'm not even saying don't use online dating at all, but as a primary approach, it doesn't work as well. And I speak to guys week in, week out about this, okay? Meeting women only through family and friends is also very limiting as well. I've even talked to guys that say they want to do it at church, and it doesn't really pan out because depending on the church they're in, right? If they're a Christian, in synagogue if they're Jewish, right? I don't really hear that from the Jewish guys I talk to. Sometimes the Christian guys I do once in a while, and they're usually like, it's terrible. Or the women are taken, if there are any women or whatever, right? Definitely help guys and help them get out and be more social in the world and build a social life and social circle, right? And even be kind of a leader of that, okay? So again, here's the thing, right? A common misconception about online dating is that it's easier because you can sit at home and swipe or type and just reach out to women. But remember, we're talking about ROI here, okay? So effort has to be put in somewhere. So though it may not feel like as much effort to go like this and that, notice your ROI from doing that. And then when you actually get to if you get to a date with the woman and she's being inundated with messages from tons of guys and right? Does she look like her pictures? What's her personality like? Is she a quality person? Any of that, right? It's like, can be a crapshoot. when you meet somebody in person, you can immediately get a sense of them and them of you, and that bond forms much faster, right? That connection can come very quickly. And it's not so based on the data of your profile, your pictures, trying to get those perfect and play this kind of sales game or marketing game with let's say Tinder, Bumble, or whatever, right? Match and so on and so forth. Okay. Because you're also showing up this confident, attractive guy that also does things differently by, like I talk about, flipping the script, it just stands apart. Stands apart when you walk in the room, the more you get the vibe down. Okay. And so this is all about ROI. Is there some effort that takes into going out and stuff? Absolutely. But again, just like anything, it becomes a habit. Sitting there and swiping through hundreds and thousands of women just becomes a habit, habitual. So does going out when you get comfortable with it if you're not comfortable with it. And about 2/3 of the guys that come to me, 2/3, 3/4, depending, are lower on the confidence, lower on social confidence, not just confidence with women. The guys that are more social, a lot of guys tend to have confidence issues, whether they're more social or not, with those women they find really attractive. And then the guys who have more shyness, confidence issues, all around, which is who I was. It's my specialty. I love helping those guys. It's just more work, but it's totally doable. I've transformed many guys with that, right? Guys that were shy wallflowers, right? Guys like Jeff that I worked with that crushed it, right? And built up his confidence. And does he get nervous sometimes still? Yeah, but he became kind of the leader of the group. They're like, who's this guy, right? But he really put in that time and effort and really applied himself, right? Really applied himself to the work. And so his results are far better than when he was doing the way he was doing it before, relying on friends and apps and all that stuff. Whatever he's doing, I'm trying to remember exactly what he did, let alone all the chasing and stuff he had to do to try to convince a woman to go out with him. She got mad because, when he came to me, he said they were in Vegas. She wanted some $40 necklace and he wouldn't buy it. She got pissed and he was like, fuck this. And then he saw my post, signed up for my stuff, got in the call, and off we went. Completely changed everything. Okay. So, but you got to be really, you got to be committed to this. You got to really want those high ROI results. And this is the best way that I've ever found. Okay. The way that'll last you for your lifetime. And also talking about apps and all that, you have much more of an abundance mentality to, if you do meet women on dates, there's not all this pressure because you know how to meet women more or less in a lot of different social venues and out in public interactions, right? Now, I'm not talking about pickup. We don't do pickup here. We don't go down the street and chase after women and all that crap. I did that. That's a certain thing. That's not the kind of lifestyle I ever wanted to build, and not the kind of guys that I help want to build. They want to be able to, right? Because if you're doing that, it's like you have a separate life. You have to go, I'm going to go pick up now and go out, and it's like a thing. It's like going out and like skeet shooting a bit, right? Instead of it being integrated into your life, integrating to being social, which people already do, right? And then kind of rising to the cream of the crop, kind of being the king, as I call it, the king archetype versus the hunter, as I talk about in my Attraction on Command Masterclass, okay? So really important to focus on high ROI approach by meeting women socially in person. Now, again, sometimes they say, oh, I should type meet women in person. But I don't want guys to go, oh, I'll swipe online, then I'll meet her in person. No, I mean from the get-go, meet her in person, right? Meet her socially like that, okay? So let's move on. I think I've covered that well enough. So focus on a high ROI approach, okay? And next is really important for entrepreneurs more than anybody, because things can be tumultuous, up and down, whatever. Even if you're going good for a while, you have something hit, you got to put your time in. Who knows what happens, right? You really want to qualify for a supportive woman, okay? So let me go into this a bit more. I can get on a call, man, with a guy, and I can list like 5 core characteristics that every guy needs, and he'll hit 3 out of 5 of those. He'll have some more, and I'm talking about internal characteristics because I've heard them all, and I also know what that right relationship is for that successful guy, what he really needs, given all the struggles he's probably had with the types of women he's been dating, right? A lot. And some guys have not been dating much, but necessarily, and some guys have been dating more. But bottom line is that being supportive is like one of the number ones. It's hidden. A lot of times they'll hear, I want a loyal woman. Great, because guys have been cheated on, right? Guy's been cheated on and wants a loyal woman. He's going to say that. I know that, right? And if he doesn't, I'll say it. And he'll go, yeah, I want a loyal woman, right? It's like the flip side. But one that's missed, guys will say, I want a fun woman. That's great. I want an intelligent woman, good head on her shoulders, not a bunch of baggage. I don't want her to be doing drugs or partying too much. I don't want a woman with 3 kids from 3 different baby daddies or ex-husbands. Husbands is a little different. It's not like never have any kids, but kind of the ones who are like, they just have a lot of stuff and they could be fun and they could be cool, but they got too much going on with ex-baby daddies, basically, right? I'll often hear, okay, they'll, I want her to stay. It'd be good if we could chill in at home, but we go out at night in the town, right? Some guys are more for the adventurous stuff, going out and doing physical activities. Trips, right, is the one for guys that are successful like you guys. You want to go on a trip. You're tired of avoiding trips because you don't want to go alone, or you don't want to like fifth wheel it with other couple friends, married friends, because you don't got anybody to go with. So you avoid going on trips, and that sucks, right? That's no good. So, going on trips, having somebody to share that quality of life with, right, and share the success. But again, you could have all that, and if you don't have a supportive woman, it's like the foundational rug can get pulled out from under you. All of a sudden, things start to fall apart because maybe she gets too demanding. You are having fun, but she's not really a supportive type. Okay, now sometimes this is a challenge if both people are too ambitious. Okay. That can be a challenge, but I would say more it's if you have 2 entrepreneurs, like a male and a female entrepreneur. That's a challenge. I'm not saying it's not doable. I know examples out there, but that's tough because they have to be ambitiously focused, not only on maintaining success, but growing a business. You're either growing or dying in a business. You can't maintain, right? Maintenance in a business is death of business. I've learned this the hard way, my entrepreneurial friends. Haven't you? You have to focus on keeping up with the market, what people want, with shifting, evolving, growing, making things better, serving more people, right? How do you help more? Grow, grow, grow. And it's fun, but you got to keep up with it. And if you don't have somebody, I learned this from one of my mentors, a business mentor, actually a gay man who was like, right, awesome dude, super whip smart, really successful, ran a mastermind that I was part of. And he's like, we need supportive partners. He had a coaching session with me once. So, right, as a gay man, he needs a more supportive type of man. As straight men here that we are, we need more supportive type women. They don't have to be like staying at home cooking and cleaning necessarily, but they have to have that element of understanding, right? And knowing when you've got some tough stuff going on that they're just not going to like, well, you're not paying attention to me, so da-da-da-da-da, right? That shit sucks. Nobody wants that. And it's not about ignoring her or avoiding her either, right? You've got to work on your side of it. But supportiveness, I can't tell you how important it is. So almost on every time a guy reaches out for a call, a breakthrough call to see if it's a fit, how to help him map out a plan, stuff like that, see if it might be fit even to work together, I'm going to push that. I'm going to push it. I'm going to throw it out there, And that usually it's like, yes, yeah, because it's that feeling of like I can relax. Now, at the same time, I'm not saying that you can just relax and kind of not still be that kind of naturally attractive guy. You still want to have that core vibe. Okay. Recently, a guy, we started working together about a month ago, and he asked me, well, once you get in the relationship, can't you just kind of, go back to who you were? I'm like, no, man, that's exactly a big problem guys have. They might, and some guys that have come to me have a lot of women around them. They're going on dates. They're, having fun, right? Sleeping with some women, and a lot of times, but what happens is it doesn't last very long and they want a real relationship, but it's really painful for them because it's going round and round and round and round. Okay. And they're not, and they're acting kind of like this obviously they're attractive enough to get these women interested, but then they're definitely chasing too much. And then they also have in the back of their mind, well, once I get in, I can just lay back and kind of like, lay on the couch vibe. Sorry, guys. The biology of attraction doesn't work like that. The psychobiological dynamic of attraction doesn't work like that, okay? It's not like you have to be some, swinging pimp guy or whatever, and nor do I teach that per se, but if you don't have that edge and that mojo still, she's going to become unattracted, okay? So really important, right? Qualify for that supportive woman, okay? And drop any comments, anything that you're thinking down here, questions as you go, like, share, all that. I always encourage that. Want to hear from you guys, okay? And so let's talk about the next one, which is to reprioritize, and you got to put dating in the top 3. Look, I talk about this all the time, and I'm not going to shut up about it because I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are doing well in business, right? And some guys are like, maybe you've gotten off track a little bit. You're not doing as well. You're doing well. You hit some road bumps. There's some women you see that took you down mentally and emotionally, right? So you need to build that yourself back up, right? But you're still resourceful. You're still success oriented, all that. That's fine. That happens too. But especially for you guys that are really, really working in the business, and you're probably a single dad, and your kids are, in their 10s, right? And early teens. We still got to watch out for them. They're not little babies, but you still are pretty involved as a father. You probably have some friends, right? You have, some of a social life going on. Your time's stretched more thin. But one thing I can tell you is it's never about time. And this is about prioritization and commitment. Because how you built your business, right, was to commit to put in that time and do what it takes, whatever it takes. They call it the WIT philosophy, okay? Whatever it takes. I'm not saying it has to be the number one priority, and actually it shouldn't, okay? Your relationship should be up there, but your mission, what you're up to, what you're passionate about should be your number one thing for a man. It really should, okay? But if you're not putting in the top 3 to focus on your dating and relationships and to improve that part of your life, you're just going to keep going round and round and round and round. Or maybe you go up a little and you get pulled back down by the same patterns, right? The same beliefs, the same habits that keep you where you don't want to be, getting the results you don't want, dating the women you don't want, dating no women, maybe, right? Avoidance of dating at all. Burying yourself more in work is a very common one, right? And then those excuses slide in of, well, because, there's always more to do as an entrepreneur. This is different than when you have a day job. You can put that stuff on the shelf on the weekend. We don't do that, do we, guys? No, we don't. And we don't want to necessarily. I'm up. If I wake up at 4 a.m, I think about something for a client, I make a note, and I'm like, I'm sending this email, we're talking the call, whatever it is, right? That's how we roll. Always try to help serve, make it better and better and better, and get the best results for customers, clients, and grow the business, right? So, but there's a fine line between actually, does that work need to be done? What is priority of that work? And then, because we also need to rest, relax, and rejuvenate our minds, our bodies. Otherwise, we get burnout. And burnout is a horrible, horrible thing that a lot of us experience, right? Part of what is going on here with the old face was probably a bit stress-induced, as I'm trying to leap to some new levels here, okay? It's good stress combined with some bad stress, but then, right, you can get hit with something. And so, or you just keep working and working, and years go by, and they go by, and they go by, and you look back, and you're like, what happened? Why was I working so much? Why was I not spending any time on this, right? And so I say top 3. And I say top 3 because top 3 is for the guys who are going to be successful and have kids, because the kids are coming up top, right? And certainly when it comes to women, you're not letting that woman into your house to meet your kids unless you know she's quality, unless she's been vetted, right? Why would you do that? And for guys who don't have kids, or the kids might be grown up, gone to college, have their own jobs, you can probably put it in the top 2. Health is always in there. But then, for a lot of successful guys, the health is going fairly well, keeping good enough shape. That's just naturally integrated, right? And the more that things are naturally integrated, the less you have to prioritize them. They just become habits. But you know, a lot of the stuff I teach is about setting these new habits, right? And it's simple, but not easy necessarily, right? Depending on what a guy has going on in his own mind, in his own habits, his beliefs of how he relates to women, his confidence, so on and so forth. Okay. And so reprioritize it anytime we can shift. So if we've got business, kids, health up here, and then dating's down here, and then you got some side projects going on or whatever, you know, it's like you have to sit down, take stock, even list out, okay, where am I spending my time? But not even where am I spending, like, yeah, start with that, where I'm spending my time. But what are my commitments and what order am I going to prioritize them? And if you just say, right, business, investing, let's say you're into investing, is a big category for you. Family, kids, friends, right? Dating. If you prioritize right now, make a list, one side of the paper, where it is currently, and write current at the top, currently where am I at, in the order of priority to you. And if dating is down below the top 3, you're not going to change stuff. You're not going to really shift stuff. You have to, and then what you do on the next side is, okay, well, how can I reorder this where I still keep the most important things at the top and put dating in the top 3? And where does it lie? And what happens if I put dating at number 2 or number 3? You can even try putting it at number 1, see what happens. I mean, some guys can do that. Dentists, man. I'm kind of jealous of dentists sometimes. Sometimes dentists have the best schedules and they got their stuff run like clockwork and staff. They work 30 hours a week, you know, whatever, right? And not all dentists necessarily do well, but definitely work with some guys. And they just like out every night and stuff. I'm like, wow, man, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So they can kind of almost put it up like slot 1.5 maybe, right? Dating, being social. But do that exercise and see how it feels and notice how uncomfortable it might feel to move dating up the ladder, right? Because you're so used to, on the left side, putting it down at the bottom. But if you don't have that priority, man, you're not going to make significant changes to get significantly new results to date the kinds of women you want, right? So, yeah, pretty straightforward. So, let me just take a look at my notes here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, and so listen, for those of you who want to move that dating priority up in the top 3, that want equality and supportive women, that want better ROI in your dating and love life so you can ultimately find that right relationship and have some great fun with some great women along the way while you identify who that is and you guys, you know, to become a match, you can just type in the comments below. You can type in CALL, okay? Comment below with call, okay? And what we can do is have a little chat, see if it's a fit, to jump on a call and talk about, I'll ask you a bit of questions in chat, just make sure that, you know, it's a good fit to do that. And you're really ready in a place where you want some real serious help to move this forward, to up-level things in your dating love life. We'll map out a plan, talk about what's working, what's not, appropriate steps, and see how it can help you out. And, you know, that is one of my favorite things to do with guys, though, who are really, really committed to changing this area of their life and never looking back. I really mean it, okay? And there's work involved. I make no bones about this. This isn't, you know, say this line and her panties drop, or, you know, look at it this one way and make her yours forever. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to become different. You have to become a different version of yourself because you're the common point of attraction, okay? It's really, really critical to get this. So you got to be in that. I don't want to scare you off, but I also make no bones about it. I get guys emailing me, you know, all the time, bunch this week, and then guys saying, hey, let's just jump on. And I'm like, where are you at? Are you committed to really, you know, fixing the situation and achieving that 10 out of 10 love life? Or where are you at? Are you tired of this? Because I don't want to jump on with somebody who's not serious about solving it, whether it's a fit for us to work together or not, okay? Because then what happens is we can map out a plan and steps, and then it's like, oh, great, and then life gets in the way, and all the stuff goes out the window. Anything new, it just fades away, because that's how we are. We're very habitual. It takes time, conditioning, and habit, and that means commitment. You don't become a better swimmer by sitting down with a swim coach and they tell you all this stuff, what you need to get to next level. You're like, yeah, great. Or start swimming and you're like, okay, cool. Oh yeah, I'll take some action on that. And then you go back in the drift of life and nothing changes. You have to be in that spot, right? And look, part of what I do is to help. Some of you guys might have, it's hard. How do I find the time to do this? I want to find the time, but I'm even struggling with it. Well, we can have that. If the commitment's there, I can help you find the time and effort. Believe me, I can. But you have to bring the commitment, okay? And that willingness. Resourcefulness is another way to look at it, okay? So that's really important in terms of, looking to book in a call. But if you are in that place, type in call CLL below, and we'll have a chat about it. And we'd love to see if or how I can help you out, okay, on a breakthrough call. So again, today, what we talked about was, how to find the right relationship, the tack you need to take, the general approach you need to take, that, these 3 keys here to do that as a busy, successful entrepreneur, right? To not have to spin your wheels for years and years, not wondering why you're attracting the wrong types of women, right? Instead of the right ones. The loneliness, the frustration, all that stuff, right? Not having somebody to share your quality of life with, your success with, but also so you don't get fleeced and taken to the cleaners where you're buying them all this stuff, boob jobs, money, giving them money, cars, houses, whatever, condos, right? All that stuff. Too many drinks, even too many dinners, paying for everything. One of the things I heard from a guy a couple months ago was he got propositioned by a woman that he was sleeping with. He paid for everything to say, hey, if you take care of me, then I'll be yours. And he's like, I don't want that. He doesn't mind sharing the wealth, but it's such a transaction. That's not a relationship. That's a transaction. I mean, it's a form of relationship, but it's way more of a transactional relationship than a relational relationship, where there's actual genuine connection on a human emotional level, and physical chemistry, of course, plays into this. I know I talked a lot about, I just assume, like, of course, you've got to be attracted to each other physically. Okay, if I get on a call with a guy and we're talking about his ideal woman, what does she look like inside and out? We'll talk about looks. Absolutely. And I'll hear 2 things. I'll hear, well, they're hot, but they don't have the inside. Or they have the inside, but I'm not attracted. Or they put on too much weight, or they just lie around. They're not active enough. They have a low energy, not an up energy. Neither of those are the right situation. That's settling on either side. And what tends to happen is the ones that are more attractive but don't have the inside are pain in the butt, but it also comes from how the guy's operating. Remember this, you're the common point of attraction. Or if she's not attractive but good quality, then you lose interest and you don't want to sleep with her, hang out with her, or you just become buddy, and then it's not that relationship in your gut, in your heart, that you want and deserve, right? And so really encourage you to always go for your 9 or 10 out of 10. That's what I'm here for. I don't want you settling for less than best, because you worked hard for your success, right? And you should be rewarded in all areas of life. But if you're doing things the wrong way, right? Like I talk about, chasing women too much, trying the online methods too much, low ROI approaches, all that, then we probably got some things to talk about, brother. Okay. So really good to be here with you guys. Drop comments and questions below. And David Hamilton, Core Confidence, signing off, and we'll talk to you soon, gents. Peace.